Good morning, Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today we're going to work on block 9 of the cotton cuts. And let me show you first, we have a color challenge. This is the block. And then what you do is you color the back to whatever colors you want for your quilt. And they are advertising something new that they're doing. And it is Chroma, which is Aurifil Thread. It's an exclusive thread membership. And I will show you. And also, they're introducing Java, which is a beautiful batik membership. And you can go over there to cottoncuts.com and you can find this. You can join. Here's my colors in case you've forgotten. This is called the Stratford Puzzle Mystery Spring 2019. That's the one I'm doing. Hopefully that light's not too bad. Also, I want to mention, I apologize for my dogs barking and carrying on. I have one in a box downstairs. My daughter's going to come over. She's going to bring her little Yorkie, and the my Schnauzer, which is male, does not like the Yorkie. I do not know why. I think he just wants to be the only male in the house. And so he has attacked him a couple times and tried to kill him. So that's it. I told her she could bring him over. I clip him, so I'm gonna do a little clipping on him today. And we each have the day off. So she's coming over to sew today and visit with me, and I want her to be able to bring him so that he's not at home all day long by himself. It's not like she gets a lot of days off or anything. My Yorkie, Lainey, she doesn't care. She has no problem with any dogs, cats, or anything. Just Dewey has an issue. So he really likes his box. He feels safe in it. So it's not like I'm torturing him by being in a box. Now, if Lainey was in a box, it'd be a totally different story. She'd be down there crying and howling and carrying on because she hates her box. I don't feel like he's being tortured. Every time that, every few hours, I take them to the bathroom, so he'll be let out to run around, and he likes being outside, and I'll spend a little time out there, and then I'll come back and sew, on and off all day. So don't worry about him. So let's get started, and I'll show you my fabrics when I get over here by the sewing machine. Here are the colors and shapes. Now remember, in my other video, I made a comment. I cannot give you the measurements or anything because I'm only showing you how to put it together. I did not create this square, or these blocks. The first thing we're going to sew together is our small triangle and our only square. And there's only 2 of these and 2 of these, so we're going to make these 2 sets and set them aside. Now I'm actually using the same needle I was using to do the embroidery that I did the other day. And I don't know if I mentioned it while I was doing that embroidery, but the glue that's on the interfacing stabilizer, whatever you want to call it, the double-sided fusible, it builds up. So what the glue does, well, on my machine now, and I've only done it on this machine, the glue builds up and it comes right up underneath or right above the shaft of the needle. And so it piles there. And the way that I clean it is I take a Q-tip and dip it in alcohol. I pull out my needle. I clean it with the alcohol. One side's got the Q-tip as the alcohol, and then the other one is dry, and I wipe it off. And then I feel it to make sure that there's no stickiness on it, and I put it right back in here. And that's what I'm doing. Because there's nothing wrong with the needle itself. And I even touch the needle from top to bottom. I just rub my hand on it. And if I feel a nick, then I will change my needle. But there's still nothing wrong with this needle. It never created a nick or anything, so I continue to use them until there's an issue with them. Now the directions are telling us to iron this towards the square. Now this time we're taking the last triangle, which in my case is the purple one, and the rectangle, and we're sewing them together. And then when we get finished, we're going to iron towards the rectangle instead of the square. And you'll end up with 2 of these. And these are all 1/4 inch seam. The wonderful thing about this block is that it comes pre-cut and in the fabric you selected. That is the best thing about this. Let me iron it out. We'll set them aside, do the next one. The next step says to join the 2 pieces that we just did. So you're going to put it up here, and then we're going to sew that. I'm going to show you how I pin these together, and this will tell you whether you have your seam correct or not. I take it to the left hand side and I match it to the corner, so it's matched here. If you can't figure that out, then go to the other corner and match it up because it's squared off. And now I know that it fits. So then I go here to the middle and I put my pin. And now I sew it. And if yours doesn't fit like that, then you need to fix it. You need to make this seam smaller, which means closer, or you can make it wider, which means take it out further. Whatever you got to do to get this to fit. And on this block, you can start on either end because you're not starting on a corner, so it's not going to be burying your fabric by any means. I've always got to move that. My little fabric from the top always stays at the bottom because of the cutting mechanism on this sewing machine. And after that explanation about, let's see if I can get it started here. There we go. If you can't get it started, put yourself a leader ender on there. Do you know what that is? That's a little piece of fabric to start your needle in, and then keep it on there. Don't cut it off. I'll show you one of my leader enders here. I've always got some sitting here right next to my sewing machine. Here's my stack right here. This is my stack right here. So all I do is just take the first two, if I need them. Let me take this out first. Let's say you need a leader ender. I always make these 1/4 inch. I match up my squares. I'm making a lot of little squares because I'm going to end up making a pillow, or probably make a blanket quilt out of it. And it's going to be really a mixed match. So you just take it, you sew along here your 1/4 inch. And when you get to the end, you stop. You can, doesn't make any difference whether your needle is in or out. I'll get my next fabric and I'll show you. And then you take your fabric and you line it up here. And then you just start on it. All right, so then you just clip this little piece off. And then I set these aside. And then eventually I iron them open. That's what this one is. And I'll have a whole bunch of different ones like this, and I've just got flowers and all different colors and everything. I take these after they're ironed, and we're going to attach our large triangle. This is fabric D, if you're following along on your own pattern. And we're going to put it together like that, and we'll get 2 of them. You want to be really careful because this is on the bias now. This big long strip. Now I put it on the bottom because I want to make sure that I see this right here where the seam is at, so that I know it will not flip on me. Also, as soon as I start, I've got a spot that could be flipping on me too. So I want to be really careful that it doesn't turn over. There we go. Now, if you're new and you haven't seen any of the other videos yet or anything about the bias, when you sew, you can always put a piece of paper, typing paper, something real thin, even if you use a specific type of paper when you do paper piecing, you could use it too, and all you do is lay it behind this block right here. You just lay a strip on it and sew, and it will be like a stabilizer, and then when you get finished, you can tear that off. If you don't want to do that, you can also use the water-soluble stabilizer, which means it just disappears in water. You don't have to cut any of that off. It'll dissolve off. There we go. There's that one all completed, and it says that we should be pressing towards this large triangle. Now we're going to be adding F8, which is, this is mine here, and this color here, it's only this rectangle. There's no other colors, so you cannot confuse it with the darker bluish color. If you're following along, you should only have 2 of these pieces in your kit. So you know me, I'm the pinning queen here because I put a whole bunch of pins in this. Now make sure you put it on the right side. Don't put it towards the first two triangle and square that you made. It goes towards the rectangle and triangle. And this is our last blocks that we're doing today. The next time, month number 10, that's when we're going to put the whole thing together. And you know that first cotton cuts I sent down to my sister, she has not quilted it yet. She told me she'd send a picture when she did. She has a brand new used long arm. And when I say used, it is from a friend of hers that had it, but she bought it, I want to think over 20 years ago, way back before the computer systems were in there and everything. I don't think she got a book with it. I'm not sure if she did or not. I don't think she did. And she feels like it only has one speed. I don't know. She doesn't have any internet, so she can't even look up anything about it. Still learning. She and her significant other, they're still learning how to use it. He's a little bit better than she is at this point. But I think it can only do panos. I don't think it can do any freehand where you can control it yourself. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about her machine. I don't even know the name of it, to be truthful with you. I don't have any clue. And I'm not sure that when it comes time that I look into those machines, whether I want to buy sit down, which I'm feeling that I probably want to do that. I want to have more control over it, I think, than where you stand up. Right now, the small ones that have come out, which are pretty, they're pretty good, and I would be interested in a small one, but they're lacking. I don't know what they're lacking. They're lacking something that I want. I just don't know what it is, because I've seen them, advertised, and I saw one demonstrated, like a video of it. So I don't know what's happened there. Oh, something. Okay, so my fabric thread got hung up in that. Anyway, maybe by the time I retire, in about 4.5 years, maybe they'll have different ones. They'll be more advanced, and maybe I'll be interested in it. But right now, the sit down, I'm more interested in it. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But then I'll have to sell a bunch of quilts to do that, because that's not in my financial budget, no matter what I buy at this point. And then I'll be retired. That'll be even less in my budget. I don't really want to have to go out and get a part-time job to afford it. We'll see. Now that we have these two blocks finished, they look like this. I just need to iron it. It's going to look like that. And then we're going to move on to the next. And we're only going to make one of them. And it's two triangles together. So hold on one second here. I spoke too soon. We need to put this rectangle to our block now. There we go. And then we'll be finished with that block. Let's get that. Don't accidentally put this on the wrong side. Don't put it on the side with your triangle. Put it on the other side. And you know me, I got to pin everything. And if you got a little bit of wiggle in it, like a little bit, just a smidgen too much fabric, put that fabric on the bottom so that can be fed in with your feed dogs, so it won't look like a ripple in your piecing. If you've ever noticed a puckering or a rippling in some people's blocks when they make them, they needed to flip that thing upside down and sew where the bigger piece of fabric that's got the ripple on the bottom, because the feed dogs will slowly feed that in and even that out for you. Now, I'm not talking an inch of fabric or a ½ inch of fabric. I'm talking about a little bit of fabric. Not a lot, y'all. Now we've got one more block to make, looks like. Take our last set of rectangles, and there should be 4. You should have 4 in this color and 4 in this color. And we're going to put them together. Now go ahead and sew all these together. I'm going to chain sew them, and then I'm going to cut them apart, and I'll show you how we put them together. Don't know what chain stitching is, you do not cut your thread when you're done, when you get to the end of your fabric that you're sewing on. You just continue, you put the other one up in there. Like this here, just like that leader ender that I put on there. Same thing, I did not cut this, I just kept sewing. And then you just sew the next one. Press them to the dark. And they're going to look like that when you're finished. And now we're going to put two together. Now this is where you want to make sure that you nestle your seams correctly, or else you won't be matched up. So you want to match your seams. I need to take that off to show you here. So that the purple and the purple, well in my case the purple and the purple, they nestle together so they're not overlapping each other. And then pin it here so this doesn't flip over, because you're actually going to be sewing on this side right here, 1/4 inch. And be careful, it's really slippery right in here. And I already did one. And then what I got to do is get this one started, and I'll pull a little bit on my fabric to keep it straight. So let's get it started first. As soon as I get it started going over that seam, then I pull this pin out. And then I want to make sure that my bottom fabric is pulled a little bit. There we go. This is very slippery fabric. It is so soft. It just wants to move around on me. Okay. There we go. That's what you're looking at to make sure that the color went right up to the corner there. Now we're going to put these two sets of blocks together. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this one here, flip it over like that, which creates the pinwheel. And then we'll just make sure that you put your seams. This will go to this side and that one will go to the other side. And now that this is pinned, we're going to sew it. And I'm going to be watching here when I get to the intersections, what I call it, up here at the points that match. Normally I would take a pin. Let's see if I have one here. Ooh, I don't think I have one. And mark right here where the seam is of the two, and stay on the right hand side of that. This way I will not be cutting through the nose of the tip of the pin wheel. Otherwise it's sort of like sewing blind and not knowing, and I'll show you here in a minute. I made a very faint mark, but I mean I can see it, but... And you can use your friction pin if you want. Pencil pin, it makes no difference. This is going to be on the inside. It's not like anybody's ever going to see it. That little pink mark right there. And I stayed above that line. And this is the results. All of my points met in the middle, and none of them overlapped each other. I'm going to iron it now. And now we're going to attach the rectangles we have left, and that's what it's going to look like. So let me get them pinned. All right, I did one side. Now I'm going to do the other for you. Just sewing it just like normal. 1/4 inch seam. It's coming along really good. I can't wait till this mystery gets put together. I'm really happy with my colors and the position that they've put them in the blocks. Up until this point, I've never made myself a batik quilt, so this is my first. That's what it looks like, and I'm going to try to put both these pieces on this little design board. Now there's one of these and two of these. They turned out really, really nice, so I'm going to put them with the other ones. Can't wait for next month. If y'all enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed and you'd like to see some more, go ahead and subscribe. Click on the little bell, and I'll see y'all next time. And thank you everybody for watching, and welcome to all my new subscribers. Bye-bye.